My name is Chris Cooper, and welcome to the Fitness Beyond 30 podcast. If you're listening to this, it's probably because we've trained together or our paths have crossed at some point, and you just had to see if I would actually start a podcast. So here we are, our first episode. What do we want to talk about? Where should we begin? I think one of the hardest parts about starting anything is that moment when you've got all these ideas and you're staring at a blank sheet of paper. I read a book a long time ago by a guy named Simon Sinek. It was called Start With Why. Now, maybe you've heard of it, or maybe you've seen his TED Talk. It's a book about taking action and understanding the importance of knowing why we do what we do. When I first told one of my PT clients at the athletic club that I worked at that I was going to leave to open up my own gym, the first thing he did was he sent me this TED Talk. And it started to build the foundation of how we've done business for the last 13 years. So as I start this new adventure into the world of podcasting, it made sense to start with why. So if you're listening to this, you might be asking, why would I decide to jump into the world that is so oversaturated with podcasts? Because it's the next thing. For the last 18 years, I have been blessed with the opportunity to work with a lot of wonderful people. And unfortunately, a lot of our conversations had to be cut short due to time constraints. So with this podcast, I hope to continue those conversations and expand on them as I share the knowledge I've been able to accumulate over the last 2 decades. I'm about to turn 43 years old. And this is funny to me because I clearly remember when my parents turned 40 and then again at 45 and all the over the hill crap that they got around their birthdays, cards, hats, and anything that you can imagine birthday related. Now, I don't feel like I'm over the hill, and if I am, I can still do everything that I could do 10 years ago. It might just take me a little bit longer to recover, but I blame that on 20 years of sleep deprivation. Now, maybe it's an optimist. Maybe it's because I'm an optimist, but I don't see myself slowing down anytime soon. It doesn't matter if I'm turning 43 or 45. I've led a very active life, and my goal and my plan is to continue to live that active life. I just know that I have to make changes to it. Now, granted, I've surrounded myself with people of all different ages, and somehow I feel like we're all the same age. No, really. Like, I'll be with people closer to my daughter's age, and she's 16. And I'm like, oh yeah, so-and-so. Like, they're my age. And then when I actually do the math, I was way off. But over the last 5 years, as I've approached 40 and now I'm in my early 40s, I don't want the next 40 or however many years I get to live be limited by a mindset or an outlook on aging. A long time ago, maybe not that long ago, but when I was younger, one of my uncles tried to drop some wisdom on me. And he once said something that really I've clung on to for the last 15 years or so. He said, birthdays aren't about getting another year older. They're about the latest version of you being released. It's an upgrade. And my next birthday, I'll be Chris Cooper, version 4.3. I've thought about that every year since he said it to me. And just like any upgrade to a system, we take what we've learned from the previous versions and make adjustments and improvements so that the system continues to function at a high level. So as I approach version 4.3, I've decided to take this opportunity and start a podcast. First things first, we have to understand the why. Why might this podcast interest you? I'm not the smartest guy in the room. Well, maybe I am. I'm literally the only person sitting in this room. But anyway, most of my accumulated knowledge comes from everyday people with everyday experiences and everyday stresses. Just trying to stay healthy and be able to be physically active in their social lives, play with their kids or grandkids, look good naked, and be proud and confident in what they are physically capable of doing. Too often we feel like we're the only one dealing with the stuff, or worse, we've surrounded ourselves with people that help us justify accepting where we are without much hope for the future. If you've got 30-ish minutes and even the slightest bit of interest in finding out a way to stay fit and healthy or get fit and healthy as you move through the ever-quickening years, we might have something for you. Now, I know that I don't know it all, and I like to learn everything that I can. I'm typically the guy that if I don't know something, I will get on my phone or find the nearest thing with internet access and try to find the answer. And maybe it stems from something that happened in my childhood, or maybe it's just because I'm really curious. But I want to know more. I also know that there's a lot out there about health and fitness, and it can be hard to navigate. Instagram people say this. Podcasters say that. YouTube showed me this, and I got a buddy that does that. Everyone has different ideas and different experiences of what worked for them. They're not all right, and they're not all wrong. The most frustrating part about this podcast will be that I'm not going to give you definite answers because all of our situations are unique. Yes, there are similarities in our fitness journey, but a lot of the answers we're looking for will always just depend on the person. Super annoying, I know, but it's the truth. So why fitness beyond 30? When we were coming up with names for this thing, this one stuck out to me because people always talk about things changing when you hit 30. Just wait till you hit 30. Okay, now what? And it happened again when you start approaching 35. Oh, 35, that's when. Okay, now what? And it keeps happening every 5 years or so. Something will shift, something will change. Your body will stop working the way that it used to. Now, I'm not saying that I haven't experienced changes over the last 13 years. I've had plenty. But what I am saying is that almost everything I've been told led me to believe that by 40, I should have very little expectations of my physical self. And everything I've experienced has led me to believe that after 30, I'm still very capable of looking good naked, keeping up with my college athlete and an energetic 5-year-old, and living a life that will hopefully give me a lot more time to build memories and share experiences with the people I love. Life changes after 30, that's the truth. You settle into being an adult, into your career, your responsibilities and priorities shift, and time can get away from us. I don't know where this podcast will take us, but I do know there are still a lot of conversations to be had and information to distill. So here we are, getting close to the end of the episode 1, and I'm thinking back to that blank sheet of paper. When I start in on something new like this, I try to manage my expectations. I don't know how it's going to go, and I don't know how it's going to turn out. I'm hopeful, fearful. I want things to go smooth and easy, but I know that there are going to be obstacles to overcome. I guess as I get started on this podcast journey, it parallels the fitness journey we're on. So join me as we try a new medium with the same great conversations. Some episodes will be like this, me just spouting off into a mic. Others will have guests to help us navigate the ever-evolving landscape of fitness beyond 30. As a closing note, do me a favor. Grab a pen and a piece of paper. Take some time and reflect. What's your why? Why do you train? Why do you want to prioritize health and fitness? Why do you want to tune into this podcast? Let's start there and see where it takes us, if you're up for it. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. It's been a pleasure to have these conversations with you. This podcast is all about expanding our knowledge, connecting on a deeper level, and becoming the best version of ourselves. If you enjoyed what you heard today, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with others who might enjoy it. Until next time, keep moving, stay curious, and embrace the uncomfortable. We'll see you in the next episode.